so let's move on to the last side, which is the GAS1 terminal station, not terminal, sorry, the energy station. And we're going to start with the group number 7. Are you guys here?
Hello, we are.
Yes, hello.
Go ahead.
Well, we are Fan Yuan Chen, Alejandro Garcia, and Juan José López. And we have, well, I mean, we are group 7, and we can share the video first. About a post-carbon future, we tend to skip a step. As Jamieson said, it is easier to imagine. Thinking about a post-carbon future, we tend to skip a step. As Jamieson said, it is easier to imagine an end of the world than an end to capitalism. We cannot imagine outside of it, and most projection has become a remake of the past. The same is true for climatic collapse. We cannot imagine a societal change that could save it. With this in mind, we propose 3 strategies: the visibilization of social stallment and the accumulation of culture, a proposal to solve it through social cohesion and solidarity, and the ideological shift in how we think about the natural and the anthropogenic. We place our eyes in Gen Z and their ways of online organization. While millennials are poisoned with irony, platforms like TikTok show us how Gen Z face politics collectively and honestly. They have also understood the decay of imagination, craving imagery and sounds of lost pasts and futures. Our project aims to become a space for young people to meet and create new culture while spreading their ideology. The project divides the area of the GES1 in 4. When accessing from the east, the users are presented with a space designed to confuse them. Platforms, stairs, ladders, and slides make it difficult to move around. This densely packed area comprises workspaces, pools, VR capsules, and stages, among other multifunctional spaces, whose function is being appropriated by the user. The area can only be understood using a resource that young people have plenty of: time. Moving to the south, you can find a market and workshop area. This space is populated with several water filtration systems that extract water from the subsoil, taking advantage of the proximity of the river. This water is treated and sent to a set of towers where it is infected with algae and sent through a circuit to do the photosynthesis. This way, the algae reproduces to then be turned into biofuel. Some of the water is recirculated to the pools from other areas. The towers include individual VR capsules themselves. A third area can be found when accessing from the south, either by car or by foot. By car, the user is invited to a bridge-like structure that leads to a vertical parking, where users can also share music through their car once parked. By foot, users are greeted with a space specifically tailored for producing virtual art, NFTs, and experiencing virtual reality as a group. This is made possible thanks to our prototype of a cushioned facade that allows visitors to indulge in virtual reality in a unique and safe environment. The production of NFTs requires a great amount of energy, which is produced by the towers previously mentioned, thus closing the energetic cycle of the building. The last part consists of both buildings parallel to the river. We fill them with a gym as a program that helps build community around it. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, do you want to show anything from the middle?
Yes, maybe we can focus first on the water filtration system. Is if you can go down and to the right, I believe. Yes, that one.
This one.
On the left, yes. That on the left.
On the left, this one.
No, that one, but the column on the left.
Okay.
Yeah. You see 2 columns? Yes.
Yeah.
That's the water filtration system that extracts water from the underground and then recirculates it after doing a process of filtration in various steps. Marcos, please, can you go to the second page? Yeah, the second one. Straight up, no, the second one, like up.
This one.
Go up. Yeah, go up. Yeah.
This one.
And can you go to the top left of the
Sure.
paper?
This one.
No, the second paper. Can
And
you go
this,
to
yeah,
the
okay. This
top
one.
left? No, up.
Sorry, Alejandro.
You got this.
Okay.
Where it's Mapa del Agua, where it says Mapa del Agua, so that we can see how the water moves. Do you see the?
Wait.
Maybe if I ask, do
Okay,
you see the plan that
do you
it's called
have-
master plan?
Do you have the Miro open?
It's yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, so if you can share it if you want.
That one, straight up. Don't move. That's okay. On the top left, you can see a mapping of how the water works. And those little purple things are the ones that extract the water from the underground, since we are next to the river, and then they move it to the towers where the algae is included, and it makes the photosynthesis, and then it goes to, it's turned into a biofuel. Lastly, I would like to perhaps show the prototype that it's not that clear in the video. Yes, that is the prototype. That it consists of a how do you say, a cushion, a hanging cushion in a sense, that allows the users in a VR space to not worry about having any problem with the air surrounding. Maybe we can show the area in itself in the, if you go to the plans to the left, and just an axonometric, whatever.
Which one do you want? The axonometric or the plan?
The first one, for example, maybe.
Okay, this one, the big axonometric.
Yeah. If you zoom in very hard in the ramp, in the blue ramp, you can see right there, that's the place where the prototype would be, or I mean, where the prototype is. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah, I could start. Thank you for the presentation. I have a couple of comments. The first one is the I don't know, this you have this very strong and social and political intro in your presentation with this green future of the human race, and especially of Russian young guys. And then you have this fancy color thing, and I believe that this is for the reason, and you just try to show the contrast between this environment, which are like most of the Moscowitz leaves, and this kind of the Disneyland space, which become this safe place for the young guys, where they could enjoy bright colors, etc. But this is kind of the cage thing, and if you wanted to work in this way, you should emphasize this contrast, because it's now look a bit like, again, okay, we have this political issues, social issues, climate issues, and then like the answer is to create some community center in the center of the Moscow. So the city, I think that you have to think of a bit how to connect this thing into the like striking storyline. And I don't know, I'm not sure if we have enough time to describe the program of this thing, but yeah, I don't know. I think that it's not so necessary here.
I feel like, maybe you should, I don't know, like we sort of giving you the comments, and I know it's the final presentation, so I'm not sure, like we're giving the comments in terms of like what you could do more, or you could have done in, like which direction. But let's imagine if you would keep working on the project. I think put a pause on the narrative. You establish the narrative, and then, as Arkady said, there's a gap missing between the narrative and the building itself. I feel like there's actually multiple gaps missing between the narrative and the building. And focus maybe first on the building itself, because there's already a lot going on there that you're using the valuable time in your video explaining the world, but then you open with the building that is already complete. And as the previous project, for example, there was it started out with a sequence, right? Like we looked at that, hence this, looked at this, hence that, and then kind of like it built up the building from the kind of from ground up. Well, it still missed some steps, but still like the direction was, I feel like, correct. Is that when you have something that is so vibrant and filled with different architecture and program, you probably cannot show it all at once. Take us like a little bit slower, because otherwise I have so many questions. First of all, I don't know what was the existing structure, what is the addition of that, why do we have cars going into the train, into power station, do we have cars in post-carbon society? Like all of these questions, and the narrative does not help me to answer any of these questions. So I feel like there's a lot of going on in the building itself, and maybe take some time explaining and unfolding what's happening there. Also, I still didn't get necessarily what does the prototype do. So that was kind of a little bit of the missing moment for me.
Okay.
And also, like you explaining the diagram, you explaining the system, right? With the how you taking the water from the underground, then you're filtering it, then it goes somewhere else, and or you're taking the water from the river, and a lot of this explained just by you showing an exploded axonometric of an architectural structure. Yet you're explaining us a system that is not diagrammed in that exploded axonometric. So the exploded axonometric is a different thing, right? It talks about the structure and the physical things, right? But when you're explaining as the system of the water traveling through your building, we need a different type of a diagram. That is sort of, I know I sound like a broken record, but that's the diagram that is missing in a lot of these projects. The system diagram. How do you explain what is happening with whatever system that you're working with? If it's waste, water, people, circulation, like all of that, I did not see. And it could be an interesting thing, like, right? Just one thing alone, if you're talking about groundwater, first of all, there's
why do you have to pump water from the,
yeah,
from the
like,
ground if you have river here?
why is the groundwater? Why not the river? And do we know enough about the groundwater to start pumping it from there? But that's like an extra question. But just that thing alone of the pumping water from whatever and doing something with that could be just already the project, right? And explaining that system is crucial for us to understand what is going on in all of that. And then if you add all of the narrative with young people and climate change, I'm like totally lost. But I feel like, again, it's all there. And maybe, again, this is a comment for a lot of the projects that we saw. Try maybe breaking your video into the storyboard, right? And I'm sure you've done that before, and see where are the shots or scenes are missing for us to kind of get it. Because I feel like there's going to be like the storyboard with some of the scenes that are missing, the diagrams, some legends, some sentences that were not said, for kind of explaining the project more thoroughly, so people do not spend time kind of complaining that they didn't understand the project, but they would be actually engaged with you on the level of the content. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I think Arkady and Navi already said a lot. I will just point out that I believe that the intro actually, that big picture intro actually shows a little bit of a problem, because I feel like you guys are trying to be so ambitious that you are trying to solve everything, and maybe we need to be a bit more humble and just try to solve 2 or 3 things each time, no? Because I also had the feeling that I could not see what was the project about in a nutshell. I could see a lot of directions and a lot of things happening at the same time, but I could not have a title for this project, to be honest. And I also wanted to point out another thing. It's very important, the language we use to describe our projects. If we say that we are using water and then we are infecting the water with algae, there's something that makes you think, well, are we infecting the water with algae, or are we implementing, or I don't know, improving water with algae or whatever? Then again, what are we using cars in this post-carbon era? What kind of cars? Is the young people has a lot of time that I'm not even considering myself young, but younger people has more time than older people. I don't know. I felt that there were some sentences in the video that were a bit that we could have a debate about them. So that doesn't help to clarify a already very ambitious project with a lot of different directions. If the storytelling or the script is not very clear of what it's saying. Again, things are there. We just need to make them simpler. Thanks. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback.
Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so let's move back to the group number 16 in levels above factory. Are you guys here? Nope.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So hi, we're Diego and Jaime, and so I think we're just gonna roll the video and then we'll explain a little bit.
Yeah, we can roll the video and then we can present for a little like how does it function.
They appeared progressively, quietly, with their weird clothes, as vegetation that grows on the pavement and that will in time break it. They asked, "What is a city?" A city is a system, a compound of many elements bound together and acting at multiple scales. CCTV public cameras, advertising billboards, ongoing construction sites, monumental elements, generic domestic and industrial tissue, the interstitial small residual spaces that are left in the wake of the city's path. All those are elements of the city system. We wanted to understand this, and I suspect they aim to improve it in ways those of us who always lived inside it could never have dreamt of. First was perplexity. We tried to shelter them. We gave them space at an old bread factory, but their eyes never stopped looking at the whole of Moscow, so we had no other choice but to let them go. They seemed to be driven by their own code, their own strategy, and I progressively understood that it was all centered around one thing: visibility. Visibility because they looked avidly, they gathered, measured, asked incessantly. Visibility because they disappeared. All those strange patterns they covered everything with made them invisible to the eyes of the city. Visibility because everyone was paying attention to them. They rarely uttered a word, but their homes spoke for them. Some of us started to understand that the climate emergency that we face today asks not only for the construction of the future, but also for the deconstruction of the present. So I too became curious, and I saw that the rules that they seemed to follow were created by all their knowledge on the city system, which they had condensed into a single topography that ordered their every move. They inhabited and worked at the cracks of the city. They had inserted their space with complex steel structures which existed on top of ours, and it seemed quite literally bridged the gaps. These places were some days extremely hard to find, and some others they attracted all the attention, telling us things we were too eager to forget. During the day, they walked with their deployable structures and gather as much data as they possibly could. One day, coming home, I opened the wrong door, and I found myself amid servers, data centers, control and visualization rooms, at the center of a storm of data, ideas and experimentation around our very city. I could see in that space the potential for change. I also realized I had never seen them entering those places. That coincidental door turned out to be anything but a coincidence, as they were entering their spaces through ours. They were living in a city within a city, asking questions from the outside to change the inside. That is when I realized that there never was a they. All we ever were was us.
Okay, guys, and you asked me to share screen yourself, so go ahead and share the video.
Yep. Thanks. So basically, what we did here the first time. Hello.
You can hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, the internet's kind of breaking here.
Yeah, we're kind of having some issues.
Sí, Calvario. Sorry.
Okay, now?
Vale. ¿Qué pasa?
Yep. Okay. Weird. Okay, yep. You can present for us because we're having like some issues.
Okay. Yeah, you can show the mirror, please. Yeah. So basically, if you can go to the further left, because we're gonna just really quick start there to the furthest, a little bit more to the left. A little more to the left. More. No, a little further. There's some more things on the left.
Ah, okay. Sorry. Okay.
There. So yeah. So we started making a series of cartographies trying to understand the city as a system. So these included CCTV cameras, ad billboards, a series of all the ongoing construction sites in Moscow. So trying to see how the system replicates itself and maintains sort of its hegemony on people. And so then the project stems from that trying to escape from the cracks of the system and trying to propose alternatives. Yeah. So if you can go
to the right, not to the right,
please. Just wanted to show.
Yeah, starting from there, we like kind of created like this like fictitious civilization whom they appear like in the edges of the city, and we've made a cartography compounding all the variables that we've studied, and from that we designed like a map for them to do their operations. So this is like divided in colonies, and we designed one of their colonies. So the whole project is like playing with the concept of visibility, and we play with this concept like trying to hide with different strategies the different elements from the project, but not like hiding. It's like hiding in plain sight. It's like trying to make them not be recognizable. So this civilization can like study and make like a virtual model of the city in their bases. Now you can go to the lower part, Marcos.
The lower part on the right.
Yeah. So like we've divided the project in like 3 levels of scale. There are the main base, the outposts, and the citizens. And each level of scale has like different strategies of modifying the visible relation with the cities and with the city systems to
relation to visibility. So yeah. In some ways it's hiding. So we designed all these pattern cloths, which basically try to allow for these people to live in the city, but in some way live out of it, as they completely escape also of all face recognition software, and they break the silhouette detection algorithms. And so we devised a series of different patterns to try to break this system, which are composed of different sampling of faces generated ironically by very own algorithms.
Yeah, and then if you go to the left, Marcos, just a second, like right to the left. Yeah, there with the little towers.
with the little towers on
Where you were.
here,
Little
or
more.
up there, these towers, or in the on
That,
this one, right?
yeah, that one is like the outposts that they use to monitor the city and get the data that they use to build like a virtual model of the specific parts of the city that they're studying in the bigger base. And that one has like a camouflage designed to interrupt the LiDAR
System, cartography system and 3D system. So it's composed of a series of mirrors that change orientation depending on the wind. So this allows for these spaces to be completely out of any cartography that is made in 3D.
Yeah, in 3D cartography. And
And
then
so-
you can go to the bigger piece of the project,
which is at the far bottom.
which is like that axonometric drawing that is exploded. Like
Which one? This
Uh,
one.
in the big panel, in the one on the right, you can go there.
Yeah, that's all right.
Like in this one, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, that one.
okay.
Yeah, that's like the central piece, like the computer, and it's equipped like with the rooms to modify this virtual model of the city, and with all the servers and the key equipments that the model needs, and also has like a room for the people of Moscow to try on simulations on the city that they inhabit. And it's in its skin. It's composed like of you can go to the detail, which is on the left, immediately on the left, that you are like beside the text.
A little bit further up, yeah, as well. So basically, we try to design a place which is sometimes eliminates visibility, so that completely disappears, and at sometimes it tries to give you information about the state of. Ideally, we thought about the state of the fight against climate change.
Yeah.
So it's composed of a series of panels that are made out of LEDs, which could actually replicate.
You can go to the green drawing in the top of that.
Yeah, exactly. And so, which basically.
No, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
No,
This one, or the one on the top. Which one of the two?
That one, but like in front of the map.
In front of the map, this part, right?
Yeah, a little bit further down.
Yeah, that one.
That's perfect. So this is the detail where you can see how the LEDs would work and would try to replicate another image or display information and be kind of a constant reminder of the state of the simulation of the state of change.
Yeah. So as a kind of like a general view, we try to construct like a narrative project that plays with different variables that we've recognized in the analysis of the city. And we made it to explore like some topics that are like developed in the project. And yeah, like it has 3 layers with these 3 levels of complexity. And I don't know, like, yeah.
I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Okay, can I a few comments? I think things that I liked in the project. I like that you have this idea of the scales, right? You have the headquarters, then the outpost stations, and then you have the citizens that are sort of this other scale that is also animated and it's walking around. Well, first of all, I see some of the influence of Liam Young's work in here, maybe. Yeah, of his the video where he talks about the fabric that makes you invisible to the machine vision, right? That the people were hiding from the machines. One of the questions that I had when I sort of saw this video, or well, his video, also his film, and then your film, is that why be invisible? What's the purpose of being invisible there? Because right now, if we're talking it from like not kind of fictional point of view, but from a practical point of view, the problem with machine learning is that, or machine vision is that machines cannot see for shit. They're so bad at recognizing a lot of things that they actually need help to see things, right? And like you could actually go the opposite direction, is to how do you make city more visible to the machines, because they cannot see it anyways. They're like, they cannot recognize glass. There's a lot of things that they sort of do not see. So first question is that actually, why be invisible? Do you need to be invisible in the first place? And if you want to be invisible, what's the purpose of that? Is it like to hide from the machines, or maybe there's something more interesting, right? Maybe as the city kind of evolves, there's certain aspects of the city you do not want to see as a pedestrian or something. And you could talk about how do you hide that. I don't know if we're going into the direction of the invisibility, but sort of kind of using we want to be invisible from like the big brother, or from the kind of this watching eye that is like watching our every move, is sort of it's becoming maybe outdated, because I don't want to get into this whole
yeah, it's really not about being invisible. It's about playing with like the visibility as a concept, and to try to have a critical stand on the systems that are being used to monitor the city. Like, these people use patterns that they do not make them invisible. They make the system hard to perceive them. Like, it's the whole visibility thing. It's not really we don't want to be seen, because these people are studying the city. They are going to be seen. They're going to be in the middle of the places. But they take a stand on how the mechanisms that the cities are using to control the people must be tackled. Because you put a security camera in a street and no one says anything. But if people were aware of these systems of control preemptively, like before, it would be much easier to jump the barriers that these systems of control are imposing on the people. Like, the whole problem is that we think that the computer can do anything, and we're so docile to all the impulses that it gives us, and the system itself, we think, oh, it's impossible to fight this dynamic. But you can like have a conscious approach, and you say, I wear these clothes that are making the cameras hard to detect me. Okay, there you're having like a political stance. You see, it's not...
Yes. I mean, when I was saying being invisible, I meant exactly that you're trying to be invisible to the cameras, not
as a political stance.
Yeah, I understand, but the thing is that
not to the cameras, to the systems of control.
I understand your point. The thing is that, do these people have cell phones or mobile devices? Because we're sort of, if we're even talking about post-carbon, then the cameras or CCTVs are not the infrastructure that is actually surveillancing you. That's the mobile devices that you have in your pocket. They no longer need cameras to kind of actually
but I think that there could be
they don't have
well, anyway,
I just think that if you wanted to play this scenario about these guys who are trying to hide from government or for the rest of society, you have to put this government or the rest of the society into the storyline, because they are separate from the rest of the environment. You're talking only about this guy, and it looks like they are not invisible, but they just blind, because you don't have another actor in the storyline. I mean, from who they trying to hide, there's no other people. And if you could add to the system, like upgrade the bit.
Yeah, who are they?
They are, as it said in the video, they are us. So basically, it's trying to exploit the parts of the system where visibility kind of dims. And so think about radicality and change that cannot come from the center of the public eye. They do not come from the mainstream. They come from the outside, from grassroots movements, from spaces that are interstitial. So it's trying to augment these places and try to bring a new approach and bring spaces for those new approaches that we can't even conceive. today, because we are too much into the system that is all encompassing.
Yeah, the project is not really an applicable project that we want to build in Moscow. It's like a storyline, architectonically explained and using architecture to produce knowledge that explores some different context and concepts about how the cities are moving. So it's not something that you have to imagine being built. It's something that is being built in the documents.
No, it's clear the story. In terms of storyline, it's made nice, and this kind of the measures which you take about but I don't know, it's also in terms of storytelling. Yeah, you have to reveal a bit of context, and especially if you are talking about kind of the social issue, yeah, you have to show the conflict, because now, okay, something is collecting the data, and some guys don't want to be data collected, and what, like they are coexisting, or they are opposite, or they are fighting, or they could be put in the jail or something like this. What happened in this like dystopian world?
And I see like maybe also a little bit of gaps in the logic, because you have the headquarters and it's sort of like the controlling the outposts, and the outposts are sort of connected to the citizens, and it's kind of like the headquarters are like this big thing that is in the middle of the courtyard, that it's like,
and that's the aim of the big project. It's not about it being invisible, it's about it being unrecognizable, and a thing that expresses an image, because it hides from the city and shows all the data that is being collected. So it's really is visible. It understands the information that it projects. So
no, we know what you mean by visible and invisible. You're saying like no, yeah, it's not invisible, and then you explain it's invisible in a different way. No, we understand that you actually can see it. What we mean, we understand that you're saying that it's invisible only to the cameras or the machine. That we understand that point. Like that's clear. That's exactly what Liam Young did in the movie, right? In the film.
Yeah, but I don't think that is really that much related to Liam Young's movie in some points. Like making an opinion on this project basing in the ideas that Liam Young projects in the film, it's like not a really good point of view, because it doesn't talk about that at all. Really.
Okay, well, let me try to center a bit the feedback, because it seems it's getting into a discussion about who is right, who is wrong, or what, and I don't think that's really
but
useful.
It's an interesting discussion.
Well, let me yeah, but I don't think we have time for that, because we have more teams, but you guys know better. I just wanted to say a couple of things. Like, I think the video is very nice. I think it's very well, the images are very well selected, and also the script of the voice in off is very good. I really liked it. I really understood that it was a political and social statement, and how that could affect us. It was very, very sensitive. Let's put it this way. I really liked it. And you put out that the main strategy is visibility, and I think that also is shown very well in the video. So I wanted to say that it's very well selected and very well thought. I see, and now that you guys are trying to react to our comments, I see that you guys have a very well thought process behind. So I congrats from that. Now, but I'm gonna go back to one thing that one of you guys were saying, that you don't want to build this. Okay, I'm gonna go to build this, because already in the 60s, when we all started thinking about sustainability, there was these two different currents. No, there was like Buckminster Fuller will say, like, we need to build more with less, because the materials are going to be depleted. We have no infinite materials. And then there were Archigram that was saying that we have unlimited resources, so we need to create new structures. For me, what you guys are doing is more like an Archigram approach, where we say, okay, we have unlimited resources and we can build up everything. And I think that nowadays we can already say that that approach is wrong, because we have realized that we don't have unlimited resources. So my question would be like, how would you build that, or how would you create that kind of system in order to be sustainable? Because it looks like you are creating like these fabrics or these structures on the city everywhere and moving around, and where is all that coming from, or how are we doing this to make it sustainable in that way, a post-carbon era? So because that's the big conflict that I have. I really understood all your statements below and the process and how you presented it, but for me that's the biggest, what's happening there?
So yeah, basically we actually thought a lot about this question, and the teachers know that we actually were one of the last people who actually started to design a physical space, because we were very much trying not to do that. But in the end, I think it's about also trying to focus the interventions that you make. So as well as Olaf Aurelius and Eleanor presents sustainability as a main focus, and he justifies the fact that he's brought ice from icebergs so far away, which contaminated a lot, and he's actually taking ice from there, which so I think it's kind of thinking about, is it worth it? I mean, we could design, obviously, like try to be as sustainable as possible using existing spaces, which is kind of what we're trying to do. But I think it's also about trying to be as effective as you can. So trying to use your intervention so that you can provide a space for further innovation and further thought and critical thought, which I think is really the critical point of the paradigm change that we need. It's not only about building sustainably, which it is, obviously, but I think it's about choosing which bullets you fire, I guess.
Well, thank you, guys. I wish we will have the time to keep on with this for one more hour, but we're done. So let's move on with the next two groups, with the last two groups. And the next group will be, if I'm right, the group number 10.
Hi, good evening.
Go ahead.
Hi. Okay, so before we jump into the video, we'd like to thank you for being here tonight with us, and we'd just like to point out how we've studied this project from the water and for the water and the interactions between people on water. So if you want to go ahead and play it. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. We express our sincerest appreciation for so kindly viewing this video. Introducing the newest aquapark in Moscow. Welcome to the new guest one, Mako Island. If you want to escape from the routine and bustle of everyday life, there is nothing better than relaxing in a water park. Here you will not only have a great leisure time, but also significantly improve your health thanks to the incredible benefits of our thermal waters. This is a unique place in the heart of Moscow where many pleasures are surprisingly combined. A water park, bath complex, and sensory gallery. Mako Island has everything you need for a healthy getaway with the whole family. The purpose of the project is to give a new use to this magnificent historical power station built between 1904 and 1908. Therefore, the project will transform this building into a space conceived as an articulated experience, going from a sensory water experience passing through a water park destined for children and coming together in a bath complex meant for relaxation. The project site is near a very active district on the island, intended for young generations. The synergies between these local components will certainly develop the cultural and multi-generational character of this part of the island, thus becoming a destination for Muscovites, Russians, and international visitors. As we are located on the riverside of the Moskova River, we intend to use this natural resource to incorporate water into the project. The water pipes collect water directly from the river and transport them to the filtering tanks, so they can be pumped and heated to reach our desired installations. As we walk into the building, we enter the welcome area, a first glimpse into the many wonders of Mako Island. This area includes a ticker counter and locker room. To our right, we cross over to the sensory gallery, which serves as a transition from the outside world to the world of Mako, the ultimate aquatic experience. We want to generate a journey for the users that merges the tangible with the sensory, combining illumination and water in its three states. The itinerary ends in the main building, where we enter through the cave, a narrow and dark space that takes us to the waterfall, where we can take a look at the main view of the park, while enjoying a relaxing bath by the beach area, which consists of a heated pool with incorporated water jets. Of course, there is also a smaller version of our pool where the youngest ones in the family can climb and play around our rock mountain. Last but not least, our adventure ends in our 12-meter high and 40-meter long water slides with access from the cave connected by a staircase. The space is formed by hanging vertical elements which simulate stalactites and stalagmites. To achieve this irregular geometry, we proceeded to cover different metallic structures with polyurethane foam, which allowed us to simulate the cave-like effect, which resonates well with the theme of the project. With all this, our goal is to stimulate the development of our users, paying special interest in children, through the manipulation of the spaces and their heights to fit the desired programs.
Okay, guys, you asked me to show these panels, right?
Yes, we would like to point out how we've been studying through photogrammetry different spaces that have give us the opportunity to create this complex where each piece or each space, what we call them spaces, generates an experience, and it's like a part of the project itself. So it could work without it, but it makes total sense with everything together. And as we've said on the video, everything interacts with water, not only through the pipes that they're shown in in the video or in our diagrams, but like inside of these spaces, things happen. You can either be, you can see how water is falling right in front of you, or you can be sitting on water, and this is how you interact with the spaces. And if any of my colleagues want to add anything, just go ahead.
Well, just to point out that maybe the geometry of the project may seem like a bit random at first, but through this analysis, we wanted to point out that all the different studies of the spaces of the building that we made it in order to fit all these pieces together like a huge puzzle to combine them and create all these waterfalls, slides, and cave-like spaces to come all together and create the project. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Just to add, just to point out that we are trying to understand the. Oh, Ines, I think I'm here myself. If you could mute yourself, please. We have this problem many times before. But anyways, we've tried to understand the project from a point of view where everyone interacts with not only with the water but with the building itself, and learning how to trying to approach this post-carbon by using the water all the time and reusing it and creating a cycle with it. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Well, actually, I really like the visual language of all these drawings. They are drawn in very high quality, and I think that this could be kind of interesting topic, or topic of some separate research on the way how water could shape the form of the buildings and other structures. So this part is very nice and I like it, but I don't know, the core topic for me, it seems a bit weird, talking about aquapark. I don't know, for me, well, if you could imagine a couple of most unsustainable things, it would be like big American car aquapark and something related to the barbecue gas. And it's pretty weird to imagine that in the post-carbon era they still have aquapark. But on the other hand, they could have, we could have the aquapark, but it should be kind of the different way of thinking of the aquapark DNA. It's not like pumping water, heating water, or then, I don't know, filtering water and then repeat, because it's consumed a lot of energy, it's consumed a lot of water, chemical thing, etc. So, and if you are trying to focusing on this post-carbon water park, you should try to think of what kind of the sustainable technology could be used to greenwash the concept of the water park a bit. So, yeah.
I think if on paper, just the title, this new type of the post-carbon aqua park is interesting, and you're trying to imagine what is an aqua park in a post-carbon society, and you're kind of imagining something other than water slides, I think. I feel like the water slide is, it's almost like, I don't know. Is there, this is the question, is there something else happening to the water? Is the water there just for the purposes of being
joyful, like
yeah, as the leisure, like you swimming around in it, or there's something else happening with the water and you sort of observing in it, while observing it, you're sort of in the aqua park, but it's actually something else as well.
With the water, the aqua park, and we were planning on like using the water in all of the spaces, like either it's like liquid and you can swim and you can see the waterfalls, or it's like a sensation thing, and you are like in a dark cave and you feel the water and it takes you somewhere else.
Yeah, maybe what could be interesting is that approach water from not, well, in general, kind of, if we talk about landscape systems and like hydrology and water in general, our historical relationship with that was that we would dictate the way it would look in order to please us aesthetically, or like be a leisure, like a fountain, kind of Versailles, where we like walk out and it's all nicely done, and it's kind of like landscape serves our desires, kind of, right? That's the kind of historical, yeah, relationship with landscape systems and water including. Here, well, in post-carbon society, the hope is that this relationship would switch, and then we would recognize water as part of this, or like as a landscape system, and as an instrument, or as an actor, right? As an equal actor, and having it as serving purely a leisure purpose seems a bit, I don't know, old-fashioned. Yeah, 18th century. But if it would be something else, right, like some kind of function, it's water serves a specific function within this area, and kind of this added thing on top of that, that is also a leisure space, by observing water in different states of it while it's doing whatever thing it's doing, right? Generating energy or being purified and released back into the river. You know, like it could be like this point on the river with the water from the river, and it has to, it could have been a prototype of something that is on the river. It takes water from the river, it purifies it and releases into the river, and a lot of these points have to happen along the river in order to kind of purify the water in the river, and it has to be like done in different scales and different typologies, right? And it's just one of them, right? And then while it's happening, this process of the water purification, remediation, people are visiting this space and they're observing all of this process, and that becomes kind of an experience, rather than so we're kind of going from the other point, right? We're looking at the function, and we teaching ourselves to recognize that as something fun and beautiful, rather than kind of taking our ideas of what is fun and beautiful and forcing it on top of a landscape system, right? And because this kind of approach really took us to the moments where we are right now, where we have to have conversations about post-carbon in general. That's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, I will complement what the guy said. First thing I wrote down here is that how is this post-carbon? And it's exactly what Navi was describing right now, so I'm not gonna elaborate on that. Second thing I wrote down is that the video, for me, it looks like very much a marketing video. It looks like you girls are trying to sell the project, which is not a bad thing. It's just, but you need to be conscious of that. And if you are trying to do something where you are trying to sell a project, then you should try to be consequent with what we are trying to do. So if we are showing a water park inside of a building, you should try to make it the image is a bit hedonistic. So if it's a water park and there's no blue on it, it's only gray, maybe it's there, then you are not trying to sell now, you were trying to sell before and not afterwards. So it's for me, there is we need to be more consequent with our thoughts. And yeah, and last but not least, the name of the park is something like Mako Park or something like that, which is Mako is a type of shark. So I don't know if I want to be in a water park with sharks. So that's it.
Thank you for the feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Feel free, girls, if you want to answer some of the feedback into the chat, feel free to do it.
Just like really quick. Oh, in the chat, if rather.
If you want to be very quick, but I would prefer if you do it in the chat if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
Because we have to move on.
Thank you.
I think the last comment that I wanted to add to that is that right now, as we see the cities, right, in the current state, outside of the speculative realm, maybe the way we see the way urban systems are working with water, we are driven by this illusion of control of water, right? This idea that we can control water, and we are seeing that this idea is flawed from the very beginning. And if we pursuing that idea, we will keep constantly seeing the two system clash, right? The water systems and the urban systems. And I think that this project reinforces this idea that water is to be controlled, right? Nature is to be controlled. We need to kind of step away from that and rethink our approach and our kind of relationship with water in general.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, so let's move on with the last group, which is group number 14. Are you guys here?
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Just wanted to say that thank you to have arrived here with attention, and as a topic we have chosen the energetic issue. So how to feed buildings in a post-carbon era with electricity, and the search of architectural form that allows it. So enjoy the video.
Pikachu is a battery that is alive, an inhabited pile. Inhabiting and electricity production happen simultaneously on the site, benefiting one another. A project that continues the activity of power plant that was taking place at the site where it is being developed, the GS1. The group has completed several studies on energy production in the post-carbon era. First of all, the electric roof, the production of electricity through snow. The civic effect generates electrical energy from the difference of temperature between the inside and outside of a roof in Moscow in winter. A thermal jump of 30 degrees can be achieved thanks to the accumulation of snow. In second place, the tank pillars, the production of electricity from the waste produced in the building. The decomposition of biomass is carried out in tanks by a bacteria that realizes green light in the process. These tanks also serve as a supporting structure for the roof. Once the accumulated snow melts, the water in the tanks is renewed. And so, by a triple symbiosis between roof, tanks, and inhabited functions, Pikachu takes shape. The living functions receive electricity in exchange for providing organic waste to the tanks and heat to the roof. The complex consists of a mortuary, a surgery clinic, and a residence for young and old people. The three buildings are configured under the electrical roof and around the biomass tanks, providing cadaver remains, medical waste, and residual water, respectively. At the same time, the pillar tanks have been distributed on the site based on a previous study of the weather, wind, radiation, and temperature conditions, as well as the formal structure of the existing building. Architectural form has historically been linked to the way energy is obtained at the time,
The new way of obtaining energy in the post-carbon era will bring with it new architectures, with forms derived from the desire of being environmentally friendly. This project investigates the architectural form from that route, the sustainable production of electricity.
Okay, guys, and you asked me to show these images, right?
Yeah.
Yes, just to clarify a little bit how the whole system works.
Okay, so go ahead.
Nothing to say. Yes, there are the three parts: the electric roof, the functions, and the biomass tanks. And the one is giving the other what it needs in order to have zero emissions to the outside. And then you can see a little bit more of the interior of the project, and maybe in the video we haven't seen it, but that's it.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for the presentation. Well, I like the idea that you are thinking of the space like the living model, and with all this self-sufficient system, the only thing that I think that missing is a bit of fat production. But if we would like to discuss exactly the project, not its content or narration, like this, I have a feeling that it could be not like efficient in terms of square meters. I don't know. I think that this is the first project where we could discuss like square meters. So for me, it's a problem that we have so many space, which is used for different kind of the productive facilities, and so lack of living and public space. And I don't know, is it efficient enough to mix it all together in one space in terms of area? I mean, if we will find a place somewhere else to produce, I don't know, food, energy, like how we're doing it now, is it better or is it not so efficient to comparable with this proposition? And like to avoid this kind of questions or comments like from my side, maybe you could try to compare the areas. Like here we have the like one person, he is inhabits, I don't know, 20 square meters in your project, and also he had a part of his like areas from the energy production, from the food production, from the biomass production, etc. And for instance, it would be like 100 meters, and this would be like the requirements to the area of the plus carbonic person. And then you could compare it to our current state when, for instance, you told that where he live in 80 square meters apartments, and we have like 2 hectares of the field of the crops which are producing the food for us, or something like this. So this is my comment. I don't know if it's helpful, maybe it's too detailed or too stupid, I'm sorry. But the project is very nice.
I really like the prototype. It looks like a project in itself, right? With this a little prototype that could be implemented as a column, and I'm still not sure exactly what it does exactly with the water, but it seems an interesting concept, just the prototypes itself, right? And I also appreciate that you spoke about snow. That's like the first project that spoke about snow, I think.
Considering the snow.
Yeah, yeah, and considering that we are in Russia and there's a lot of snow, and that's a lot of the things that we hear a lot when we pitch the project. I just think maybe the structure itself is this canopy that is above the structure of the above the building that is covering the building. Maybe not necessarily necessary.
Yeah, but I guess it absorbing the heat or something.
Oh yeah.
But I think so.
Yeah, but what I guess what I wanted to say, I really like the prototype of like this node, this unit, and you definitely need to think about developing it further, and can just become a whole project in itself. I was just not sure about what grew out of this, I guess, like what grew out of the prototype and what it became. I like the small unit better. Yeah.
Well, for me, it was very interesting to introduce this concept of creating or restoring a power plant inside the city, because nowadays we have them mostly outside of the cities. But in the scheme of circularity that you guys have, you have one of the three pieces of it is this in-habitat function. And we need to be very careful of how we combine uses in our projects, because I'm sure you are aware that people don't live in power plants, and there's a reason for that. And the reason is that electromagnetism and electricity have some effects on our health. So if we are gonna put the young and the old living inside of a battery, they might become all very young. So we need to be intelligent of what kind of uses we put inside of our new city battery. So I will advise you guys study a bit about that, because it creates a lot of problems. I like very much the concept, and it's quite clear. And I think, as the guy said, that the introducing the snow and how the snow can help to create electricity is very intelligent strategy, but let's keep the intelligent strategy up until the end.
Thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Like always, we stretch it a bit more, so I'm not gonna extend myself a lot. I just wanna thanks to the students for your great work. For some of us that we are not in the bachelor, it's been great to see how you have been developing the projects through the weeks. Really happy to what I saw today. And also to the client, Arkady, Navi, Guillermo, and also the rest of the people that have joined us at some point. I really want to, well, in name of all the professors here and all the students, to thank you a lot for your feedback and to actually allowing us, to incorporate like another perspective of how we should use some of the infrastructure of the city, and also for your knowledge about the, for the cure for the Center of Urban Resilience and American Ecology around this topic. It have been great. So yeah, and also have been like super fun. So hopefully we can repeat that sooner or later. So I just want to invite you, Navi. You want to say some last word to close the course? We'll be thrilled to it.
Sure. Yes, I want to thank you all for such hard work. I also wanted to mention that a lot of the comments that were mentioned today are mostly directed at maybe nitpicking. Maybe we clearly see that graphically projects are way far along, and just they look all great and can be sort of part of an exhibition just with the aesthetic alone, right? Yeah. But just the comments were mostly aimed at bringing some of the other parts of the project to the same level of the visuals that we see, right? So they would be much stronger with not only looking good, but also working good. Yeah, working good, and then having a strong kind of a backbone idea behind them. So that was like maybe not mentioned during our critique. So we didn't want to spend much time kind of saying how beautiful the drawings looked. I think that's obvious. So thank you so much for this effort. And thanks again for the video presentations. And we clearly understand how much work must have gone into that, like having we have to work with similar kind of tools, and we know how long it takes, and it's probably many sleepless nights. So want to thank you again for all of the energy and effort put into this. And we really hope that you will visit Moscow sometime, and we would actually show you all of these locations in real life. You can imagine all of your projects on site. Yeah, and then looking forward to seeing, as I understand, some of the work continues right into the second semester. So it would be awesome to see what happens in the end after the second semester, given that they're already in a very good shape. So I can only imagine how good they're going to be by the end of the year.
Well, thank you so much, Navi. I don't know if anyone else wants to say, Silvia, Federico, Pedro.
No, we're gonna repeat thanks. It has been like a privilege to have you as our fictional client, and all your feedback has been like very sharp and precise. So I'm sure all the students are going to improve. Maybe not the projects that are not going to continue, but their perspective on what they have done. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to repeat too much what they have been saying, but yes, add congratulations to all the students, because all the work have been really great. It's a pity that we had to select only a few projects for today due to time reasons, but it has been great to see all your projects through this semester and the final submission.
Yeah, I just want to add that, just like usually we do, let's open the mix and let's give like an applause for the course, not only for the client, also for the client, but also for your partners on the great work that you guys did. So congratulations.
Definitely.
Okay, so for the students, please stay with us. And for the client, you guys are free. Again, thank you. And thank you for your time and for being with us until so late. We will be in touch, and hopefully the next time we see each other, it will be physically in Moscow.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I really appreciate all this project. There is a lot of bright ideas, and really, I think that it's all a matter of the practice to find a way to build the storytelling in a more efficient way. So keep on practicing.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Gracias, Guillermo. Bye.
Bye.
Bueno, a los estudiantes hemos quedado mañana, ¿no, Silvia? Pedro, a las...
Sí, os recordamos, por si ayer no estabais con toda la atención puesta, que os hemos citado mañana en el aula a las 5 de la tarde. Y bueno, pues leeremos las notas y daremos un pequeño feedback un poco de cómo hemos visto el curso y algunos comentarios, a lo mejor, si nos da tiempo, particulares. Y recordaros, hemos estado revisando las patentes y hay mucha gente que no ha usado la plantilla. Igual ponemos en Facebook, por favor, un listado de revisarlo, porque no sabemos bien si a lo mejor llevar las patentes a la exposición de Matadero, no solamente los paneles, así que tal y con lo que tenéis, pero respetar un poco el formato para que podamos darle un poco de uniformidad al trabajo de la unidad. Y nada más, mañana os contamos. Hay un grupo que quedamos que mañana a las 10 en punto nos trae los paneles impresos porque tuvieron un problema, pero han subido todo, la entrega está hecha. Pero por favor, estad a las 10 en punto para que no haya interrupciones luego una vez que empecemos las correcciones, ¿vale? Ese grupo, no recuerdo el número, pero ya saben ellos quiénes son. Y creo que nada más, no sé, Pedro, se nos olvida.
Yo creo que eso, perfecto. A las 5 nos vemos mañana en el aula donde entregasteis ayer, no en el de arriba del todo. O sea, en el de ayer.
Enhorabuena a todos.
Enhorabuena. No, mañana os lo decimos como con más énfasis.
Bueno, pues ya está, cerramos, ¿no?
¿Tenéis
alguna pregunta? ¿Alguna historia?
No.
¿No? Bueno, pues nada, pues enhorabuena y hasta mañana, entonces.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana.
Gracias.